Ever wish you could like look your dog right in the eyes and be like, all right, what are you thinking, buddy?
Yeah, right. Like if only they could just tell us what they want, what they need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, today's deep dive, it's not telepathy or anything, but it's the next best thing.
Yeah.
We're really diving deep into dog psychology.
Really trying to decode those doggy brains because we might think we know what they're thinking, but a lot of times we're projecting our own emotions and our own thought processes onto them.
So true. And this isn't just for fun like trivia night. This is about strengthening the bond with your dog.
Exactly, because once you understand how their minds work, you can start speaking their language. You can start meeting their needs on their level.
Okay, so let's talk about some of these common misunderstandings because I know for one, I've definitely been there where I thought I was doing the right thing, like comforting my dog when he seemed anxious, but then it just made things worse.
Oh, yeah, you're not alone there. The source material this time really digs into that. It's like, we assume dogs experience emotions the same way we do.
Right, like if I'm feeling anxious, a hug from a friend, a kind word, it really helps.
Exactly, but for dogs, it's a whole different story.
Okay, so walk me through this then. Like, why is that so different for dogs?
Well, when a dog is feeling anxious, our instinct is often to kind of baby them, right? Give them extra cuddles, tell them it's okay.
Yeah, make him feel better.
Exactly. But the research shows that for dogs, this can actually be really confusing.
Really? How so?
It's like we're validating their anxiety instead of actually calming them down.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like imagine your dog is scared of, say, a loud truck driving by and they start shaking and cowering, and you respond by like scooping them up and cuddling them and saying, oh, it's okay, it's okay. You're not really teaching them that the truck is nothing to be afraid of.
That makes sense. You're kind of reinforcing that fear.
Exactly. It's like you're saying, you're right to be scared. Good job being scared.
And that's the opposite of what we want.
Totally the opposite. We want to teach them that they're safe, that they don't need to be afraid.
So without realizing it, we could be creating this cycle of anxiety.
Unfortunately, yes, it's a common trap, and that's why understanding their communication style is so important, and that means really tuning into their body language.
So how do we do that? How do we actually speak dog?
Well, the source material this time really dives deep into canine body language, and it's amazing how much we miss just in those little cues.
Right. Like I thought I was fluent in dog, but there's a whole secret language going on.
Absolutely. And sometimes even the things we think we know, like, oh, a wagging tail happy dog, not always that simple.
Really?
Why-
So there's more to tail wags than meets the eye.
Way more. There's a lot of nuance to it. For example, did you know that the direction of the wag can actually mean different things?
No way. Seriously?
Yeah. The research cites Dr. Stanley Coren, who found that dogs tend to wag more to the right when they're feeling good and more to the left when they're anxious.
Get out. So I need to watch which way the tail's going next time I walk my dog.
Exactly. And it's not just the direction, it's the speed and the tension, too. Like a slow, stiff wag, especially with the tail held high, that can actually be a warning sign.
Oh, wow. So not all wags are created equal. Got it.
Not even close. And that's just one example. The source goes on to talk about lip licking, for instance. Now we might just think, oh, they're thinking about that steak they had for dinner. But in a stressful situation, it can actually be a sign of anxiety.
Interesting. So it's like a way of self-soothing.
Yeah, kind of like when people twirl their hair, bite their nails when they're nervous, and then there's something called whale eye. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't think so. What is it?
So it's when a dog shows the whites of their eyes, and it often happens right before they're about to growl or snap. It's like a little warning sign that they're feeling threatened.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be looking out for that now.
It's subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. And these are just a few examples. There's so much more to learn about reading your dog's body language, and the source goes into a lot more detail.
It's like learning a whole new language.
It really is. And just like with any language, the more fluent you become, the better you'll be able to understand and connect with your dog on their level.
So we're talking less about being the boss and more about being in tune with what our dogs are trying to tell us.
Exactly. It's about building that trust and understanding so they feel safe and secure enough to just be themselves.
Which brings us back to that idea of being a calm and confident leader, right? But what does that actually look like in everyday life? So how do we do that? How do we actually become these calm and confident leaders without like turning into drill sergeants?
Yeah, exactly. It's not about being authoritarian. It's actually quite the opposite.
Okay, so what is it then?
Well, think about it this way. Dogs thrive on routine, right? They like knowing what to expect, when to expect it.
That's true. My dog definitely has me trained when it comes to mealtime.
Exactly. So if we can create that sense of predictability in their lives, that in itself can really reduce their anxiety.
So we're talking like having a consistent feeding schedule,
Mhm.
maybe a regular walking routine, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the basics, too. Like, even having designated playtimes can make a big difference. It's all about creating that structure so they feel safe and secure.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like we're providing them with a framework so they don't have to constantly be on edge wondering what's coming next.
Exactly. And when they feel safe and secure, that's when they can really relax and enjoy those cuddles and that affection.
It's like we're setting the stage for them to be their best selves.
Exactly. And the best part is when we're calm and confident, they're more likely to be calm and confident too.
So it's really a win-win.
Absolutely. And the more we learn about how their minds work, the better equipped we are to create that loving, harmonious relationship that we all want with our dogs.
This deep dive has honestly been eye-opening. I feel like I've been making some of these mistakes without even realizing it.
It happens to the best of us. The important thing is that we're always learning and growing and trying to be the best dog parents we can be.
Well said.
Yeah.
So to our listeners out there, the next time your dog is acting up or seems a little bit off, don't just assume you know what they're thinking. Take a moment to really tune into their body language. You might be surprised by what you discover.
And remember, every dog is unique, so what works for one dog might not work for another. Just like with humans, it's all about understanding the individual.
That's a great point. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. But keep those tails wagging, and we'll catch you next time.
See you next time.